Hi, it's Alex Berry with Cobalt Boats. It's a beautiful day at the lake and we're starting to idle out to the main lake now. So there's a few things while we're doing this that we can always check on to make sure that once we get to the main lake, we're ready to go boating and take advantage of the boat to the fullest. Some of those things are, of course, we want to make sure we've got plenty of water underneath the boat. There are two indications on the dash at all times showing us the water depth. We want to make sure that we've got at least 3 to 4 feet of water and that it's getting deeper as we go and not shallower. The lake that we're on right now is a very deep lake, and even close to shore we're showing 19 to 20 feet. So it's not a big issue here, but it can be on a lot of lakes. So you need to be careful and make sure you know what the depths are going to be where you're going to be going boating. You also want to make darn sure that that drive unit is all the way down before you start accelerating to higher speeds. So double check with your indication on the dash that your drive unit is fully lowered. And while we're idling out, we want to keep monitoring our engine gauges. We want to make sure that the engine temperature is coming up to the proper operating temperature, usually around 160 degrees or so. We want to make sure that we've got good oil pressure and that it's coming up to the right temperature. It'll be a little higher when the engine is cold, but as the engine warms up, the oil pressure will come down a little bit, somewhere in the 60-pound area. There again, your dealer can help you to know exactly where that should be. Additionally, the owner's manual that comes with the engine with your new Cobalt will tell you where that oil pressure should be under normal conditions. You also want to monitor the voltage in the system that is controlled by the alternator and the batteries in the boat. And it should be, once the engine is running, around 14 volts. These are all things that you want to be monitoring as you're idling out to the main lake. We have now idled out to the main lake and we're ready to let this boat really show its colors. We're ready to bring it up to planing speed, but what does that mean? With most Cobalts, that is anywhere from 18 to 24 miles an hour. This particular boat will reach planing speed at about 18 miles per hour. So let's do that. What we're going to do is we're going to bring the throttle up slowly. We don't have to slam it all the way down. And with this Cobalt, like all Cobalts, we're not going to lose the horizon in front of us, even staying completely seated in the driver's chair, which of course is recommended. So we're going to bring it up slowly to around 22 to 24 miles an hour, a very comfortable speed. We're going to make sure that our power trim is all the way down before we accelerate. And once we have done that, we're going to go ahead and bring it on up to a nice comfortable 24, 25 miles per hour. Once we have done that, we're going to go ahead and use the power trim to raise the boat very slightly to the count of about 2 to 3 seconds with the power trim. What this does is actually raise the front of the boat very slightly and increase the efficiency of the system. It literally raises the front of the boat. I'm now raising the power trim. Did so to the count of about 3 with my thumb on the throttle, the rocker switch on the throttle. That literally raised the front of the boat a little bit. It increases the efficiency so the boat can run more comfortably with less fuel. It rides smoother in rough water. It turns better. It gives your passengers a better ride. As I increase speed, I can increase the power trim level even more. If by chance I increase the power trim level too much, cavitation or prop slippage can occur. This doesn't hurt anything. It just creates vibration and inefficiency. What it does is it literally pulls some air down from the surface right around the propellers, and that increases prop slippage, inefficiency, and it shows up as vibration. Actually, the boat will start to slow down a little bit. All you have to do is trim it back down a little bit, and that will go away. If I'm going, let's say 30 miles an hour, and I've trimmed it up pretty much to the top of the limit, and you'll know it if you've got it trimmed up pretty high, and I go into a turn, slippage can occur. All you need to do is trim it down a little bit while you're in that turn, and then as you come out of the turn, you can trim it back up again if you want to. It doesn't make any difference to the boat if you trim it up or down. It's just a loss of efficiency. So I'm in a pretty good turn now, so I'm going to trim it down just a little bit. Then as I come out of the turn, I'm going to trim it back up again. Doesn't matter whether I turn right or left. Same thing, I can trim it up or down. You'll notice that I'm not paying much attention to the dashboard during these turns because I've done it a few times. Big surprise. You'll probably be watching the position of the drive on the dash indicator quite frequently as a new boater. But as you get familiar with the boat, you'll be doing it by feel, and you'll be doing it by feel quite rapidly. It happens quickly. It becomes second nature very, very quickly. I'm going to bring it off plane now, and it's a good idea to get in the habit as you bring it off plane to go ahead and trim it down. Once again, that'll become second nature to you. Most Cobalts, 23 foot and larger, come with Volvo EVC engines. EVC means electronic vessel control. What that means is the engines are controlled electronically. That includes the side mount control, which I have my hand on. On that side mount control, there's a button here that says Trim Assist. If I push that, you'll hear a chirp, and a little green light comes on indicating that it's turned on. Once I've turned that on, I don't have to turn it on again. I can start and stop the engine. I can turn the battery switch on and off. Until I turn that off, it stays on. What that means is that the power trim system is now controlled automatically. I don't have to do anything. I can accelerate the boat, I can decelerate the boat. The trim system will automatically position that drive unit to the optimum angle based on the speed of the boat. It's all automated and you don't have to worry about it. The only time you would need to do anything is if you're going on your trailer, you're going into shallow water, then you would need to override the system with the rocker switch on the throttle control to raise or lower that drive based on shallow water conditions. Other than that, the system is automated and it's really slick and it works. So that is the Trim Assist system. On the smaller boats that don't have EVC, then you do need to run the system as I previously described. And once again, it will become second nature to you very rapidly. Remember, your Cobalt dealer is the expert regarding state and local regulations in your area. We appreciate your faith in Cobalt and want you to enjoy your time on the water.